All right, this is Kevin the Spiritu from Growing Your Greens.
What's up? It's John from Epic Gardening.
All right, guys, Kevin from Epic Gardening here. John Kohler from Growing Your Greens.
What's up?
Thought we'd have some fun with you guys. John just finished doing a tour of my garden, and if you want to see that, it'll probably be up by the time this is out, so go check his channel out. 100% go subscribe, hit all the bells and all that stuff. But I wanted to first start off by just saying, what did you think of the garden? What were your?
Oh, dude, thanks for having me over, man. Dude, this is an epic. Oh, this is an epic garden. I really liked it. I mean, you have so many different cool ways of growing stuff, which is like so cool.
Yeah, thanks. What did you? Okay, so here's what I want to know, because I do some different things. I got my hydroponic stuff. What did you like, and what were you maybe not like? Where you're like, hey, he could improve this. He could fix this up. You know what I mean? Because I'm always looking to learn.
Yeah, so I didn't like that you'd have empty space in the back under the shade that you actually could plant some stuff. Like I would plant some like longevity spinach or Okinawan spinach. It would love that space. It would just, you'd have a vine of greens all year long that you'd probably have to really try to kill.
Okay.
That's one thing I hated. What did I like? I really like that actually you're getting into raised beds and really seeing the benefits of the nature soil system versus all the hydro stuff. Not that I dislike hydro stuff, but I'm a big proponent of nature systems, and I mean, they're self-balancing, so especially because I travel so much, I can plan stuff out, I set up a good system, and it works, and I don't have to like be messing with my nutrients, changing my pH and all this kind of stuff.
Totally, yeah. I mean, I started with this early on in my gardening life, and then have actually been spending a lot more time out there, which has been amazing, and then your stuff's been great for that, so. One thing I wanted to ask, since you're so big on, you got into it to grow nutritious food for yourself versus maybe just like at the hobby level, like maybe some of these people, myself included, how do you think about planting and then working it into the kitchen? You know, like that whole process, because like back in the day, it was that just how life was. You know, you grew and then you ate, but now it's all disconnected. You know, so how do you think about that?
That's a good question. Yeah, so the reason why I started growing food was to have higher quality food. I'm into this big health thing and try to eat as healthy as I can, organic, but even organic's not good enough. And I'm like, I learned that I could add minerals to the soil and even grow things that money cannot buy. And that's why I started growing food. So when I go to grow my garden, like I really started a little miniature farm in my front yard at first, and now in my backyard where I'm growing hundreds of plants, and sometimes the same plant that now I'm growing, hundreds of peppers on. And I'll use those in my kitchen. So the first step is when you're buying plants, right, buy the ones that you base your meals around. So like, I tend to eat a lot of peppers. They also grow well in Las Vegas, so I grow a lot of them. They're also very expensive, so they're gonna save me a lot of money. In the wintertime, I eat lots of greens, I eat lots of salads, and you guys should eat salads each and every day. They're one of the healthiest foods on the entire planet. Make the salad your main meal. It's my main meal at night, or have lots of greens for my garden. So I grow lots of greens throughout the year, whether they're the winter and lettuces. So I'm literally planting like a whole 100 heads of lettuce in one bed. So it's like my mini farm. So during the season, I could harvest, when they're small, one leaf off every plant and have a nice salad. Or once they get bigger, then I just chop whole heads and start eating them. At the end of the season, before it gets too hot, I chop them. I could put them in the fridge. They'll last easily a month.
Wow.
Really? Yeah, I mean, think about it. Yeah. Lettuce, if you harvest them at the right time, they're used to the cold, right? They're put in a cold, place, provided you store properly, you poke holes in the bag, you don't have them too moist. You have basically an O3 generator, it's called the berry breeze, that kills all the bacteria and stuff in there. And then I can have them last. So this is like romaine, like, hearts, not romaines, not like, tender leaf lettuce.
Yeah, not like singular leaves.
Right, but if I wanted to store them longer, I have ways to do that. I could dehydrate them into chips, but dehydration is like old technology. Now I have a freeze dryer, which is badass. That I could freeze dry any of the things I grow in my garden. It'll store 25 years if stored properly in with an oxygen absorber in a Mylar bag, and it's going to keep 97% of the nutrition. So that's no joke. Yes.
Wow.
Because it does it under vacuum. And you're basically freezing the food and then sucking the moisture out, but keeping all the nutrients and the cellular integrity, which is...
What happens when you dehydrate? Do you lose more than 3% of nutrition?
Right, so absolutely, oh my God, in dehydration, you're blowing warm air across it, so if you ever put an apple in there, or even worse, an avocado, right? The avocado will turn black, the apple will turn brown, because you're blowing air, you're oxidizing some of the nutrients off. You could lose like...
It's speeding up normally what happens if you just left it out on the counter, right?
You're going to basically lose like maybe 40-50% of nutrients, which is kind of, or maybe even more.
Then it's like, why grow it?
No, because still like a dehydrated apple is still way better than a Snickers bar.
Well, for sure, yeah.
It's all relative. Not to say that dehydrated food or dried food that you get at the health food store is bad,
right.
But there's better, and of course some dehydrated foods keep more nutrients than others.
Sure.
But yeah, so I have different techniques that I use the produce. So I grow mostly what I want to eat. So I grow like lots of lettuce, and I grow a lot of different snap peas. I could have just a meal of snap peas dipped in guacamole. The snap peas are my chips, so I don't buy chips at the store. I just harvest the snap peas, or if I don't have snap peas, if I got carrots, I could pull up a carrot, slice it in chips, eat those. I could pull up a beet, slice it in chips, dip it in guacamole. Even cool, what I did a couple weeks ago was I had actually beets that I freeze dried. So I had basically beet chips,
like
those
thin
in guacamole.
Chips, like sliced.
Thin chips of beets, but then they're freeze dried. So then the texture, actually, I got some strawberries.
Then it's like a true chip.
Yeah, so it's like it's like it has a crunch. So instead of being fried, which is the worst food you could eat in your life, fried food, it's highly oxidized, ages you faster, has less antioxidant nutrients in there. Worst thing, I freeze dry them, keep all the nutrition in beets, including the different things that could increase blood circulation if you're an athlete, and all the beta lanes, cancer and inflammation and all these things. So I got freeze dried beet chips and then just dip those in guacamole. So I'll find a way to use the foods that I have, and so I would encourage everybody watching this is to grow things you're going to eat a lot of. If you love spinach, hey, grow a lot of spinach in the season so you could be eating salads out of that. And I also encourage all you guys out there is to go to your garden every day and try to make your meals out of your garden. Have it as a challenge. Have it a fun game. Like my game every day is like, hey, I'm hungry. I want to eat. What could I go out in my garden and what kind of salad can I make today?
Yeah. What can I craft? What can I
right.
put,
What can I?
like a Lego game.
Right.
Or something,
Yeah.
puzzle,
So I could go out, and this time of year I'm picking like Egyptian spinach, some Malabar spinach. I have lots of water spinach. That thing grows like a weed. I have some purslane still growing. I have longevity spinach, a little bit of Okinawan spinach. But moringa leaves. So I'll basically pick all the different leaves, throw that into a big bowl. And for some people, that might be too strong because some of those leaves are kind of like strong, bitter tasting.
It can be a bit much, yeah.
Yeah, so then you could just buy some like organic lettuce, head lettuce or romaine out of the store and just cut in like one head into there, like on a 3-pack.
Yeah, it's like watering it down kind of.
Right, you're watering it down so those hardcore greens that you're growing that are more nutritious than the stuff you buy at the store are more palatable. Sometimes I'll do that because I like the crunch of romaine, and some of my summer greens don't have that thick, hard core,
Yeah.
And that's all right, but sometimes I'll just eat them plain and straight, and then, I'll go out and then harvest a bunch of peppers. I'll take those peppers, put them inside my vacuum blender with maybe some tomatoes I grew, maybe some herbs, some garlic or some onions, some chives, some rosemary, some dill, whatever I got. I'll throw that in the blender, and then I'll put like a handful of macadamia nuts that I get from a cool macadamia nut farmer that's actually low temperature dehydrated. And then I'll basically blend that all up, put some kimchi or some sauerkraut in there, maybe a little bit of miso, and then blend that up into a nice dressing with herbs and spices. And then that's a nice dressing. So like most of the food that I'm eating, except if I'm adding the lettuce to it and the macadamia nuts and some herbs and spices, the sauerkraut is stuff I made from the winter time. And now I have basically a full salad that is gonna fill me up. That's basically my meal coming from my garden. And I think salads are underrated. I mean, if you have a garden, you should eat a salad every day because that way you could eat more stuff out of your space, out of what you're growing, instead of having to buy it.
Yeah, that brings me to my next question. Is something I've been thinking about a lot because you see, like, I don't know if you've heard of like Plenty or like all these big companies trying to solve food, like solve the broken food system, and they're raising a bunch of money. They're doing like the shipping container hydroponic stuff.
Oh, right.
Which is like good, but also maybe not the solution. And I don't know what you think about that because like I think we both agree that like conventional monoculture is not good, right? Is the answer that? Or, at least in my opinion, the answer is how many people can we get, like the old school Victory Garden thing.
Right.
How many people can we get producing, individual actors like you and me, how much can we delete our demand from the system? Right? And if we can get enough people to do that, that would change it. It's kind of like when you see some plastic on the ground, it's like, oh, I don't need to pick it up. Someone else will pick it up. But actually, if everyone picked it up, there'd be none. Right?
Yeah. So or if you didn't use it in the first place.
That's even better, right? But given that it was there, right? Given that it's there. But it's the same idea. So do you think, let's say like 20, 30 years from now, do you think that's the way the food system's going to look? Or do you think it's going to be a different, big sort of ag type of thing?
Good question. Yes. Oh, so first, actually, before I go on, I want to say another way I use a lot of my produce is through juicing.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta share that with you guys because
yeah.
if you have like a lot of stuff, I dehydrate, blend, or vacuum blend and juice it, so it goes into me instead of my compost pile or goes bad.
Yeah.
You know, the worst thing you could do is put your food that you grew on the compost pile or do something else other than put it in your body because literally money can't buy as good a food as you guys could grow. All right. So
True.
On your question, like, what is the future? So the future, in my opinion, or what it should look like, is that I believe every American, every person around the world should start growing their own food and take responsibility. In our society, including some people that are in charge, do not take responsibility and they call everybody liars. That's a whole other topic. But, you know, nonetheless, I want you guys to take responsibility. If it's not for all the food you grow, I don't care. You know, one day I'll get to growing all the food I eat.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, you know.
How close are you, by the way? Like, do you even know?
Well, so seriously, I grow most of my vegetables, honestly.
Yeah.
But I still buy lots of fruit, you know, because my diet is based around fruits and vegetables, which are the healthiest foods on the planet.
Yep.
I have a YouTube channel, OK Raw, that I share that message on. But so I have to buy a lot of fruit to get all my calories I need to, you know, literally live. Like you saw today, I was eating, well, I'm still eating.
He was slamming a bunch of these,
The
he was
blackberries,
going hard on the
organic blackberries, and organic cantaloupe. And I mean, literally, aside from water, this is all I've eaten today. And tonight I'll have a nice big salad, maybe at a restaurant, or go to Whole Foods and pick up some stuff, or whatever. But, but yeah, I mean, the answer is each person needs to take some responsibility and grow their own food, even if it's not a lot, if it's just a little bit to offset.
10% of your own food is a crazy amount if everyone did it.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody just grew their own herbs and there's no longer have to be an herb section in the store, and herbs are super easy to grow. I mean, that's really my goal and my mission, because anything else is deviating. I mean, I think the next thing after that, I mean, I always think in terms of good, better, best, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The best is if everybody took responsibility for their actions in life when they cut you off and say you're sorry, or their food, and then maybe next after that would be like I like to support actually small local micro farms. I think are the answer. So even a neighborhood farm, or even people growing in their front yard, trading amongst each other. Yeah. I grew the beets, you grew the carrots. Hey, let's trade. I mean, I think that's really that's what the optimal future should be.
I think so too. Yeah.
Will that happen? I mean, I hope maybe when younger generations get into power and they're not convoluted by this whole political system that's really messed up, that's influenced by money, is happening.
The cynical part of me thinks it will only happen when we get to some sort of like terrible breaking point. But then the positive part of me thinks that like this type of video done by many different, like my friend Steven over at Nature's Always Right, or like any of the other YouTube people, any of the people writing books or anything, like maybe if we all do that, enough people will change their mind. I just don't know.
I mean, I think it's about taking action. People need to, you guys out there watching, if you guys aren't growing your own food, start growing your own food, right? Kevin has plenty of videos how to grow microgreens, how to like grow in all these weird contraptions that are super cool. A freaking 2-liter, bottle that you cut in half and make self-watering. I mean, it's in his blog. I mean, do something, right? be the
one
change.
Plant. Yeah, one
be the
plant.
change you want to see in the world, right? And I mean, after that, then I could maybe go after from micro farm or trading with your neighbors and things. Maybe like local farms, like local organic. I love local organic farms. I'll be going to the farmers market tomorrow, the farmers market the next day to support local organic farms when I'm traveling as much as possible. Actually, I visit farms and make videos there. I mean, this is how I live my life. This is how I eat. This is what I think other people should do, and not, do I go to Walmart once in a while? I mean, I bought some grapes at Target, organic grapes the other day at Target, because that's all I had and I had to eat. Yeah. But I want to encourage you guys to do the best you can, right?
That's one thing I think is important too, because like I think in a lot of things, but also gardening too, people think like if you didn't do it the perfect way, you should just quit. And I think there's some stat, and I don't know if it's true, but it got to be somewhere close to true, where like 40% of first-time gardeners never garden a second year, or something like that. And so the next thing I was going to ask is, aside from just naturally someone being disinterested after a year, which happens, right? Not everyone, no matter what we do, not 100% of human beings are going to garden.
Right.
We can't change that. But what would you say are like the top 1, 2, 3 things that a gardener would do wrong in the first year that puts them off in general? You know what I mean? Like, what can they avoid so that
failures.
they don't get like bored of it, or they're not like sick of it, or they're not angry about it? You know what I mean? Like, is there anything that you can think of? For me, I would think like, just to throw one out, I would say like watering issues are like such a big one. Like
You took my number 1.
Yeah. Well, you're growing your greens.com. You got to come up with some better ones than that. But yeah, I mean, for me, over underwatering and like the lack of observation in the garden. I think.
Hey, that's two things,
so,
man. You took two things.
John's got one more.
I'm screwed.
He's got one more.
No, I'm good, man. So I'd probably say like, I mean, those are excellent. I'd say planting at the wrong time, right? That's huge.
I've been
oh
there.
my God,
I
like
do it all the time,
you could plant tomato, like you plant a tomato now. Well, maybe if we plant tomato now here and it's a nice size here, you'll still be good. But winter's coming soon.
Yep.
You know, timing could be so critical in gardening, right? Number two, planting the wrong varieties, right? People don't talk about this enough, right? I mean, in Las Vegas, right? If you try to plant lettuce in the summer, you're screwed.
Good night. Yeah.
It's not happening, man. I'm sorry, unless you're growing it inside in your air conditioning. But you know, I mean, I grow all these cool, amazing crops that handle 110-degree weather like it's been since I've been gone.
Half the stuff you were saying is not something that would top anyone's gardening list, but it works where you're growing.
Right? Yeah. Like these are things I grow because I can. I mean, I can't.
Yeah.
Some things I can't grow in the summertime, and I'm not about to waste my time to try.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of that because I mean I'm Zone 10B here, right? Which means that at least for me, like last year around December, it was still 80, 85 degrees. And so I was trying to go brassicas, right? I was trying to go like
Bolting.
I was trying to go cauliflower and broccoli, and it was not cold enough for them to head. So I was like, really?
So you had a lot of leaves. You got to enjoy all the leaves. Leaves are more nutritious than the heads.
100% got to eat the leaves, but I was growing. I just wanted. I want for me sometimes the success of it. Less than. I mean, yeah, it's great to eat the leaves, but I was like, come on, just like please, can you form a head? But yeah, I mean, I had to learn that lesson. Maybe I can't do that here. You know, depends on the year. But it was a really hot year, and it might be again this year. So, I don't know. All right, guys, that was it with John Kohler. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, no problem, man. My pleasure.
Yeah. So everyone probably knows already where to find you, but where can they find you?
Sure.
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, you guys can check me out at growingyourgreens.com. That goes to my YouTube channel, Growing Your Greens, where I have over 1,400 videos, so you guys could learn all about gardening many different ways. And I like to visit a lot of different farms and places and really bring you guys information that you're not going to find anywhere else. I also have an Instagram. Check me out at Instagram, Growing Your Greens. And then also have a channel if you want to learn about eating healthfully. I've been doing that for now 23 years, even longer than I'm in gardening, at OK Raw. And if you want to get some equipment, some blenders, juicers, dehydrators, and soon, or maybe even now, the freeze dryer, so you guys could preserve your food and actually eat more of it, you can check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/rawfoods or my website, discountjuicers.com.
Cool. I'm going to put 100% of all those links, including all his channel and social stuff, in the video description too. So if you ever want to just mass subscribe to all your stuff, then go do that. That's it, guys. I hope you got some value out of this. A lot of stuff to be learned from John, so go check his channel out. Like he said, I don't think anyone out there has more gardening info than you. You probably have like a Library of Congress worth of videos in there.
and they're long videos.
And they're long, yeah.
So
and they're
be
long
prepared.
Videos. My style's short, John's style's long, and both of them work really well. So go check those out. And until next time, Kevin from Epic Gardening.
John Kohler, growingyourgreens.com. Peace.
It's so crazy to have you say it right here instead of just watch it. All right, guys. Good luck in the garden and keep growing. All right, guys. This is Kevin Espiritu from growingyourgreens.com.
This is John Kohler with Epic.
You did it your way.
So wait, what am I supposed to say?